So today now I am going to the next part of acid base and salt. So you see other crystals of salts are really dry. Salt crystal are really dry. Crystal means the salt which contains water molecules. So activity 2.15 here you see heat every crystal of copper sulfate in a dry boiling tube. So copper sulfate crystal is known as copper sulfate pentahydrate. Here it is copper sulfate pentahydrate 5H2. 5H2 means pentahydrate. So the color of the which is blue is it this is also known as blue vitriol. I have already mentioned it. So you see heat a few crystal of copper sulfate in a dry boiling tube. What is the color of the copper sulfate after heating? Do you notice water droplets in the boiling tube? Here where have these come from? Add 2 to 3 drops of water on the sample of copper sulfate obtained after heating. What do you observe? Is the blue color of copper sulfate restored? তো মানে আমি প্ৰথমতে কপাৰ সালফেটৰ ক্ৰিষ্টেল লৈছো ইয়াতে চাবা লৈ কিনে কি কৰিছো এটো কপাৰ সালফেট ক্ৰিষ্টেল হয় তাৰ পিছত তাক আমি কি কৰিছো ওয়াটাৰ ড্ৰপলেট চলাইছে বইল কৰিছিলো বাৰ্নাৰ আছে কোৱাতে ইয়াত এইগটা কি হৈছে ইয়াত আমি ওয়াটাৰ ড্ৰপলেটস পাইছো ইয়া চাবা ওয়াটাৰ ড্ৰপলেটস এইবিলাক ওলাইছে তাৰ পিছত এটো বয়লিং টিউব এটো পেয়াৰ অফ টংস ইয়াক ধৰিবলৈ আমি যেতি ইয়াতে কপাৰ সালফেট কিনি কৰিছো কপাৰ সালফেটৰ কালাৰটো প্ৰথম কি আছিল ব্লু আছিল ফাৰ্স্ট অফ অল the copper sulfate color is blue but whenever it is heated then what will happen the water molecules found in the copper sulfate crystal will evaporate ebla yete water molecule ase saba then what will happen the copper sulfate solution become fade here color to no hoabo again what will happen if we add 1 to 2 drops of water in this copper sulfate solution copper sulfate crystal where we do not found the color then again what will happen the color will regain jetia ki hobo gorom kora bisot ইয়াৰ color to nohoa hobo color to nohoa hole boga hoi jabo tat jor ako ami ek tupal ba dui tupal pani diu titi hole ako agor blue color to ulai ahibo etu is tar main kotha khedi so eta ki hobo whenever we add 2 to 3 drops of water on the sample of copper sulfate the copper sulfate which has lost its color then what will happen if we add 2 to 3 drops of water on the sample of copper sulfate obtained after heating mane tat ki na thakibo color na thakibo then what will happen what do you observe is the blue color of copper sulfate restored okay the blue color of the copper sulfate will restored we will find it again so kiyo hoy hetu so copper sulfate crystal which seem to be dry contain water of crystallization to water of crystallization bili koy so water of crystallization means ki hoy kisuman crystalot ki thikibo water molecule thake kisuman compound water molecule thake aru ei water molecule bilake ki kore most of the salts have some colors due to the water molecules present water molecule karone ki hoy kisuman color pai aru ei crystal solution bilakok salt bilakok ki bili koy hydrated salt bili koy so when we heat the crystal this water is removed and the salt turns white so whenever the water molecules from the salt is removed then it then what happened the color of the salt also vanish also remove if we moisten the crystal again with water you will find that blue color of the crystal reappears blue color to ako ahi je ketia jetia ami ako diatopal pani dim so what will happen the color again restored whenever we add 2 to 3 drops of water on the salt which is already heated 5 water molecules are present in one formula unit of copper sulfate here dekhisa 5 unit ase so chemical formula for hydrated copper sulfate is copper sulfate pentahydrate if it is 5 then it is pronounced as pentahydrate copper sulfate pentahydrate now you would be able to answer the question whether the molecule of sodium carbonate decahydrate is wet 10H2 also it will be wet because you see there is a water molecules due to which what happen whenever we heat it then what will happen the water molecule will evaporate and that is why what will happen, we can conclude that the crystal salt due to the water molecules can be called as a wet salt. So on the other salt which possesses water of crystallization is gypsum. So in the gypsum also, the formula for gypsum is calcium sulfate dihydrate. Okay, it has two water molecules as water of crystallization. So these water molecules are called as water of crystallizations. So it has the chemical formula copper sulfate dihydrate. If it is two, then it is called dihydrate. Let us look into the use of this salt. So gypsum has some special use. Whenever what's happened in our bone, some fractures occur, then to get the real position of bones, what's happened, this gypsum is used. Okay, this gypsum is used. Whenever gypsum is heated, then it will form plaster of Paris. So this plaster of Paris is used for the reconstruction of our bone. So on heating gypsum at T73 Kelvin, so you should remind this temperature, it loses molecules and becomes calcium sulfate hemihydrate. So hemi means half, calcium sulfate hemihydrates. This is called plaster of Paris. The substance which doctors use as plaster for supporting fractured bone in the right position. So to get the bone in the right positions, the fractured bone, doctors, that is physician, use plaster of Paris for supporting fractured bones. So plaster of Paris is a white powder, and on mixing with water, it changes to gypsum, once again giving a hard solid. So whenever plaster of Paris is moistened, that is water droplets is added to the plaster of Paris, then it becomes again a hard substance which is called gypsum. So this is a vice versa. So whenever plaster of Paris get water molecules, then it will be a hard substance called calcium sulfate dihydrate or gypsum. Again, whenever calcium sulfate dihydrate is heated to T73 Kelvin temperature, then it will lose the water molecule and will form calcium sulfate hemihydrate, that is plaster of Paris. You see, note that only half of a water molecule is shown to be attached as water of crystallization. Yet half of water molecule dekhoise. But how can you get half of water molecules? It is written in this form because two formula units of calcium sulfate share one molecule of water. So two sulfate দুটা কি কৰিছে, যেটো ইয়াতে কি কৰিব, এটা শেয়াৰ কৰিছে. সো ইয়াতে দি আছে 2. It is written in the form of two formula units of calcium sulfate share one molecule of water. এটা one molecule of water কি কৰিব, শেয়াৰ কৰিব. সো এটাৰ হাফ থাকে, দুটা যেটো এটা থাকে. Plaster of Paris is used for making toys, materials for decoration, and for making surfaces smooth. Try to find out why is calcium sulfate hemihydrate is called plaster of Paris. Again, you say plaster of Paris is used for making toys. Amar jibilak horu horu putola ase, jibilak boga white color jibilak horu horu ki ase muti banai ami bazarat pao, ebilak ki kora hoy, plaster of Paris edi kora hoy. Jitu boga boga cement color jitu ase horu horu muti bilak, ebilak plaster of Paris edi kore. So next question kita saba. What is the common name of the compound CaOCl2? It is a bleaching powder, chemically known as calcium hypochlorite or bleaching powder. Next, name the substance which on treatment with chlorine yields bleaching powder, that is calcium hydroxide. So whenever calcium hydroxide is treated with the chlorine gas which is produced from the chloroalkali process, perhaps you remember it. So chloroalkali process, in the chloroalkali process we get chlorine gas. So whenever this chlorine gas is treated with calcium hydroxide, then it will give bleaching powder. Next, question number 3. Name the sodium compound which is used for softening hard water, that is sodium carbonate. decahydrate. Sodium carbonate decahydrate is used for softening hard water. Softening hard water means jitu water ki hoy hard hoy jot niki beleg heri thakibo mane components thake সেই বিলাকক থাকিলে কি হয় পানীত ফেন নুঠে আৰু তাক সফটেন কৰিবলৈ তাক ফেন উঠাবৰ কাৰণে আমি হাৰ্ড ওয়াটাৰ কি কৰিব পাৰো সফট কৰিব পাৰো কি হয় দ্বাৰা আমি সোডিয়াম কাৰ্বনেটৰ দ্বাৰা পাৰো next what will happen if a solution of sodium hydrocarbonate is heated give the equation of the reaction solve this is sodium hydrocarbonate sodium hydrogen carbonate hobo laga etu so whenever sodium hydrogen carbonate is heated then what happen it will form sodium carbonate water carbon dioxide we have already discussed it here you see whenever sodium hydrogen carbonate this is not sodium hydrocarbonates so sodium hydrogen carbonate is heated then it will form sodium carbonate water and carbon dioxide okay so next write an equation to show the reaction between plaster of Paris and water so this is the reaction between plaster of Paris and water so you may write this from your textbook next go to the exercise you see first question a solution turns red litmus blue each pH is likely to be 1 where it is 1 or 4 or 5 or 10 so red litmus turns blue okay so if solution turns red litmus blue then the solution will be basic so basic solution has more than pH 7 that is why the answer will be option D okay this will be basic in nature next a solution reacts with crushed egg cells to give a gas that turns lime water milky this solution contains it will be HCl but how can you know that this is HCl you see crushed egg cells means egg cells contain calcium carbonate I have already mentioned it that the egg cell contains calcium carbonate so whenever calcium carbonate will react with HCl it will give a gas that turns lime water milky so the gas which can convert lime water milky is only carbon dioxide আমি জানো carbon dioxide কি কৰিব পাৰিব lime water milky কৰিব পাৰে so carbon dioxide হ'ব যেটো HCl বুলি কৈছে HCl ত তোমাৰ কি থাকিব calcium carbonate CaCO3 plus HCl it is CaCl2 plus H2O plus CO2 okay remind the property of acid so whenever acid reacts with the metal carbonates or hydrogen carbonates it will form salt water and carbon dioxide this carbon dioxide gas will turn the lime water milky okay so what will happen the option will be this is HCl okay so next this is HCl option B next 10 ml of solution of sodium hydroxide is found to be completely neutralized by 8 ml of a given solution of HCl if we take 20 ml of the same solution of sodium hydroxide the amount HCl solution required to neutralize it will be so if we do it the same in unitary method then we will get the results you see 8 ml how much of HCl solution will require okay so 8 ml of HCl requires that it is 10 ml okay 10 ml required 8 ml okay so you see 10 ml of NaOH requires is equal to 8 ml of HCl. So 1 ml of NaOH requires is equal to 8 by 10. Then the question asks, if we take 20 ml of the same solution of sodium hydroxide. So if we take 20 ml, yes, 20 ml of sodium hydroxide will require 8 by 10 into 20. So 20 to the 10 to the 20. So 8 to the 16 ml. So the answer will be this is 60 ml. So again see the sum, that is 10 ml of sodium hydroxide requires 8 ml of HCl. 1 ml of sodium hydroxide requires 8 by 10. Then 20 ml of sodium hydroxide will require 8 by 10 into 20, 10 to the 20 and 8 to the 16. Okay, so 60 ml. The answer is 60 ml. Next, which one of the following types of medicines is used for treating indigestion? So it will be antacid. Okay, option C. Next, write word equations and then balance equation for the reaction taking place when dilute sulfuric acid reacts with zinc granules. So whenever dilute sulfuric acid react with zinc granules, then what will happen? Dilute sulfuric acid, that is, it is 5 number question 1, that is dilute sulfuric acid. So H2SO4 plus H2SO4 plus zinc granule, that is Zn. It will give ZnSO4 zinc sulfate plus H2. Okay, this is question number 1, sir. Next, question number 2. Dilute hydrochloric acid reacts with magnesium repulse. Okay, so dilute hydrochloric acid HCl reacts with magnesium ribbon, which will form MgCl2 plus H2, that is salt and hydrogen gas. So it should balance it. Here the numbers of hydrogen is 2, here also 2. So chlorine is 2, magnesium is 1, magnesium is 1. So this is already balanced. This is balanced. Next, question number 3, C. Dilute sulfuric acid reacts with aluminum powder. Dilute sulfuric acid with aluminum powder. Dilute sulfuric acid means H2SO4 reacts with aluminum powder. So this is aluminum Al. So Al2SO4 aluminum sulfate plus hydrogen. So here the numbers of sulfate is 3. So directly give 3. Then what's happened? The hydrogen will becomes 3 to the 6. Then 3 to the 6. Okay. So next aluminum. Here aluminum is 2. So this is also, we should put digit 2. So 3 is to 2 is to 2 is to 1 is to 3. So numbers of hydrogen is 6. Here is also 6. Aluminum is 2. Here is also 2. SO4 is 3. So SO4 is also 3. So next question, that is question number 4 or D. Question number 4. Dilute hydrochloric acid reacts with iron fillings. Dilute hydrochloric acid reacts with iron fillings. So dilute hydrochloric acid HCl reacts with iron fillings. Iron fillings means iron. So it will form FeCl2 plus H2. Okay, so iron has the valency 2 and 3. So whenever there is not any indication, we may take the valency of iron as 2. Iron or 2 and 3 is used. So F is equal to H2. Here hydrogen, numbers of hydrogen 2, chlorine is also 2. So put here digit 2. So it is balance. So this is the question. 5 number question answer. So next I will give you the rest of the question answers. I hope all these question answers you will do in your exercise book and will send to me. In the text also there are some questions that is these are in text questions. You may write the answer of this question and send me on my WhatsApp. Thank you.